following podcast is recorded and produced by the Podcast Precinct in affiliation with the network at bicbp-radio.com. The Podcast Precinct. Consistency, creativity, culture.
The Nostalgia Funhouse proudly dedicates all episodes in the loving memory of Connie Chirac. So, Johnny, I've been hearing really great things about this Nostalgia Funhouse. It just brings back so many great memories.
Andrew, the only reason I'm moving in line with you here is that you really vouched for this show. So I'm just going to believe you that this is the show that I've been wanting, which is just talking about all the fun stuff from our yesteryear and the years before. And I really hate anything meta, so I'm glad that what we're doing right now is not that.
Oh, no, definitely. What is meta? Isn't that Ron Artest's new name?
Well, add world and peace to it, sure.
Yeah, but this is great. They, last year they were tearing play sets and Halloween costumes.
Well, that sounds cool.
They get these weird court recordings from pop culture courts.
Does anybody care about court cases?
These ones are kind of cool. They put Scott Kelvin on trial. Poor old Santa Claus there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, man. You know what's the best part about this is, though? Is I hear they always got a really great sponsor. You can check it out right there.
Hey, how can I get muscles like you guys? Wow, Mr. Wonderful!
You can start by getting in shape with the Hulkamania workout set.
Great!
This got everything you need. Head and wristband. A jump rope for warming up. A hand gripper for power. Dumbbells for strength. An exercise poster. And even Hulk's own workout tape.
The Hulkamania workout set. You from LJN.
Are you in shape yet?
Yeah!
Hello, welcome to the Nostalgia Funhouse. I'm Johnny, and over there by my side is that jockass himself, Andrew.
That is
What's up, jockass?
That is the greatest phrase.
And he says it 100 times.
Why is jabroni still being used when you can say jockass?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Dude.
Man, I've never heard that term ever, by the way, but he says it in his movie that we're about to talk about at least 4 to 5 times. That's his main insult go-to.
Yes. If you, we are reviewing No Holds Barred.
Hey, are you looking for a little escape? Want to see something
This is sick!
you don't see every day? Are you ready for a whole new Hulk Hogan? Hulk Hogan is ripped. To the world, he's a hero. But to this man, he's history. Zeus. Stand back. Way back. Get ready for the battle no ropes can hold. No ring. No referee. No rules.
Gentlemen, it's time.
No holds barred.
This is an unprecedented display of strength and determination.
This is Hulk Hogan's first starring role.
That's right, yeah.
This is Halt of Hulkamania? Hulkamania, 4 or 5 years into it? Came
It's
out
got to be there, right?
June of 1989. This movie was a budget of $8 million.
Now, before we even say any numbers, let's also put out this. Nobody actually knows for sure this stuff because this is very much a Vince McMahon / Hulk Hogan vehicle where they had a lot of control.
It is.
And so the numbers may or may not be kayfabe. We don't know.
Yeah. Well, it does say estimated budget.
Yeah, nobody really knows. Nobody like one of the things you read is that it did make money. Other things you read is that Hulk Hogan still owes Vince McMahon a check. That's one of the fun jokes that goes around, depending on who you ask. There's another one is that Hulk Hogan. There's a big fight at the end, and Hulk Hogan claims he wrote that scene while he was sitting on the toilet. There's all kinds of great stuff. I think the lore about the making of the movie, just to give a little bit away, is more interesting than the movie.
Well, I think he rewrote Mr. Nanny too, but he didn't get a writing credit.
Oh
Did you
yeah,
hear that rumor?
yeah. I heard he had he rewrote some of the most important scenes in Saving Private Ryan.
Oh,
Hulk Hogan is just the man of the people.
that's when he got drafted by the Cincinnati Reds.
Yes. Get this, he's the one who discovered Steven Spielberg.
Yeah. Oh,
Pretty incredible.
And Kevin Owens.
Yes. On the same day, he discovered.
Wonderful Hulk Hogan. Childhood memories.
Yeah, it's all right. You still have the memories from childhood. That's what I do. Like, you know what? I may not care that much for him now, but I do have fond memories of the man from before.
So my question to you is, did you see this movie as a child? Because I did.
Yes.
Okay.
Forever ago. And I guarantee you it's been at least 20 plus years since I'd seen it. Probably 30 years.
Okay.
Or almost 30 years.
I have probably not seen this since this came out on video rental.
That would be my guess for myself as well.
Because I don't have too many memories. The fight scene at the end. But
I remember the fight scene at the end I remembered. And of course, there's a very iconic part in this movie that I definitely remembered.
Oh yeah. Whole movie.
Perhaps one of the most iconic lines in all of movies ever.
So Johnny and I like to go hour and a half movies. Movies. We like quick to the point in everything. If you listen, if you've listened to this podcast many times or you're just joining us, we go 45 minutes to an hour. Very rarely do we go over that hour thing, maybe 15 minutes because I add in a bunch of stuff like ads and stuff like that. Sometimes it's half an hour and done. And Johnny said this is the longest hour and a half he's ever had in his life.
It felt like it wasn't going to end. Some of these scenes were twice as long than they needed to be.
And what needed to be developed wasn't. So if you don't know the story of No Hold,
go. I was just going to get this out here too, and also two romantic leads who have like the least bit of chemistry between each other that I've seen in a while.
Oh, so if you've never seen No Holds Barred, consider yourself lucky.
It's on Tubi.
That should have told me right there.
Oh, just so everybody knows, we went on an adventure just to end up to watch this movie because we had two movies picked before this one that aren't streaming anywhere without paying for it. And famously, we refuse to pay for any movie before we watch it. So
yeah,
which I guess we get what we deserve.
I guess so, because there is that meme going around that all Tubi does is go to the Goodwill and grab every single DVD that's available and then just puts it up on their streaming site.
Hey, I get it, and it is funny, but at the end of the day, I'm glad that these movies, even the ones that I don't like, are somewhere.
True. Because you need to be reminded.
Yeah.
So Hulk Hogan plays Rip Thomas.
Oh, let me correct you there. Hulk Hogan plays himself.
No,
this is literally they changed his name to Rip, but they could have just easily kept it Hulk Hogan and everything would have been the exact same.
Because everything else is the same. Because can you guess what he is, Johnny? He is the World Wrestling Federation heavyweight champion, which I guess makes sense now because you can kind of say that without using it.
Yeah,
because of WWE, and pretty much this is so bad. You could tell Vince McMahon had and Hulk Hogan had some.
Oh, most of the humor is very much Vince McMahon humor. It's all gross. Like the first 45 minutes of this movie is just gross.
Could you hear him in the back going, "Good shit, pal"?
Yeah,
you know what would be a good idea.
Yeah,
Like I feel like
it's all like on the level of like when you're growing up and you hit kind of the middle school age and you're like, oh, stuff will poop and pee is funny. That's all this is. It's just the grossest humor you can think of.
well, I feel like a 5-year-old wrote this. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to disrespect the guy that is credited with writing this, but we all know.
Well, let's be fair. The guy who's credited with it, the lore behind that is Vince and Hulk hated the script that he came up with originally and rewrote most of it. So I think you can complain about all you want because he went on to do some other movies. I'm pretty sure I saw somewhere, but yeah. So that I mean, if I wrote this, I'd be like, yeah, I didn't have anything to do with it in the end.
Yeah,
that's all Vince and Hulk right there.
So he is like the big champion once again. Like Johnny said, he's playing Hulk Hogan.
Yeah,
and Mr. Tom Burrell, who is the head of. This is where a 5-year-old gets into it. Who is the head of the World Television Network? We can't just think of a better name.
Oh, that's not even the worst name. What he calls his tournament that he comes up with later is the worst tournament name. That's definitely a 5-year-old thought of that.
So he wants Rip. He doesn't want to buy the Federation. He just wants Rip because he wants ratings.
Yeah.
So after he called Rip a jackass and tried to buy him off with a blank check.
By the way, I will say real quick that guy though, that actor has been he's instantly recognizable. You'll know him immediately. He's been in so many stuff. He was in like Ghostbusters 2. He's been in a lot of stuff.
Wayne's World.
Yeah, Wayne's World. Yeah,
his
instantly recognizable.
Have been in there. Into a lot.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
So he doesn't get him. So he goes to this bar, which is very seedy kind of underworld. Vince McMahon thought it up like, oh my goodness, you know what poor people go to? They go to bars where there's guys getting tattoos and everything else. Ha ha ha. I'm rich. So he goes to this bar and he sees like this bare knuckle fighting thing.
Yeah.
Shout out to Stan Hansen for being in this scene. And this is where Burrell gets the idea. He is going to make a show called, Johnny, you brought it up.
Yeah. What's it called, Andrew?
Gee, not like Ultimate Tournament, or this is before Ultimate Fighter, or no, he decides to come up with Battle of the Tough Guys.
That's the literal name of his show. Battle of the Tough Guys.
Now, if you're a network executive,
by the way, he's over the top evil as an executive. Yeah.
I actually have that in my notes. I don't know if this is like 1994 Ted Turner or just Vince McMahon all the time. That is the best way to sum up this character.
Oh, we've already zoomed past the iconic line.
Oh yeah.
No, we haven't. We're getting to it.
No, we already did it because he does it after the. Oh, because after
he tries to get Rip. Rip says no, and then that's when it happens after that because Rip's in the limo, and to get revenge, I guess, that executive sends some bad guys after him in the limo. And the poor guy who's driven the limo is the one at the very end who says the very iconic line because Hulk Hogan picks him up by the collar of his shirt. And he says, "What's that smell?" And the guy goes, and that's when you should cheer because the movie doesn't get any better than that.
I love it how they make Hulk Hogan so overpowered that he's kicking the limo. And it's moving to the point where it's not like shaking back and forth.
He kicks the limo he's so strong that when he kicks that limo, it literally changes how the car drives. It knocks it back and forth, side to side on the road.
I love that, and the Rey Mysterio jumping through the roof of the car.
Booyaka! That's what I was waiting for him to say.
So Rip makes this Mr. Burrell, makes this Battle of the Tough Guy tournaments. But what he does too, though, is he sends in a corporate spy called Samantha Moore.
Yeah.
I guess in the movie, she is called Samantha N. Moore.
Oh,
Uh,
clever.
yeah. I was watching the Wrestling Regret review and he pointed that out. Shout out to Wrestling with Regret.
Oh, I need to watch that. I don't think I've seen that episode.
Oh,
I usually watch him, but I guess I missed that one. But she's a very attractive lady.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously they're setting up, and it's very obvious that she's got eyes for Hulk.
And Hulk has eyes for her.
Yes. Yeah.
So she's there. She is like the corporate spy, but she ends up falling for him as he saves a diner from getting robbed.
Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this.
This is
I
bad.
have a major note for this.
First of all, they're playing the Monday Night Football theme song over this whole entire time. They're playing Hank Williams Jr., Rowdy Friends.
Yes. Here's the scene. They're going to this small town that I guess it's where he's from. That's what it seemed like, because the people there knew him.
They don't give you anything. They give you
this
all
is
the crap.
You have to assume a lot in this movie.
Because
So
a lot of questions.
So they show up in this it's obviously a small town diner type place.
Mm-hmm.
And they establish that he's known there through the waitress. They have a very funny, playful back and forth type of thing. And then out of nowhere, these two guys jump into the restaurant to rob it. They have guns and everything. And Rip says, he gets up and he goes, "Hey, hit the floor." And he gets up and he beats them up. My argument here is Rip did so much more damage to this restaurant that would cost them way more money than what these guys would have stole from them out of the register.
Maybe he paid for it, though.
You don't know, because they don't say.
No, because they don't say anything about the really important the backstory.
And of course, you have to there's always that scene of one of the guys getting thrown across or on top of the bar and pushed across the bar. Yeah, that happens in every one of these movies.
I love how he yells "Get down" to everybody, and the robbers are just like, "Hey, somebody yelled "Get down." He must be with us, even though we know each other.
Yeah, and by the way, there's two of them. They could have just shot him.
Yes. Well, you can't shoot Hulk Hogan or Rip. I'm just going to refer to him as Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, you can't powerbomb Kidman, and you can't shoot Rip. These are two laws of professional wrestling.
But so during the Battle of the Tough Guy tournament in the little seedy bar, I forgot what the bar was called. I should have wrote that down. There's a fight and it's going on, and it's the most once again the most obnoxious what Vince McMahon would think is gonna be a tough guy. There's a guy with long armpit hair spraying in his face with deodorant or something. I don't even know.
A lot of stereotypes here.
Yeah, Stan Hansen is got this ripped up half shirt. Oh, that was funny though. And before they started the Battle of the Tough Guys, when he's doing that was the other dumb part.
Oh yeah.
Where the two executives are talking at the urinal and they're making fun of everybody, and the Hansen character comes out and he looks at their
wieners.
Yeah, they're wieners, and he calls them tiny wangers. He's like, "You got tiny wangers.
So you're not even worth my time." As a Southern man, this whole thing offended me.
Yeah. I think that's what Vince was going for.
Which is why Vince notoriously just, if you don't follow professional wrestling, he really truly hates the Southern accent.
Yeah.
Which is wild, because he's actually from my state. We don't claim him, by the way, just so you know. We don't want anything to do with him.
Who would you rather claim for your state? Because Ric Flair is big in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Would you rather claim Flair or Vince?
Michael Jordan.
Good hits. Unless you're with Matt, then Matt gets a little over the top about Michael Jordan. So they're doing this battle, and then who comes in but Zeus?
Yes.
And he just wrecks everybody. And
he's a big man.
He's
a big dude. I definitely remember Andrew when he actually showed up in the actual WWF
Oh,
to promote this movie, and he actually had a program with Hulk Hogan.
wasn't it like the first or the second SummerSlam?
It definitely led to a pay-per-view. The original thing was they were going to have a match, but thankfully they didn't do that because I mean, nothing wrong with Zeus. The guy did his part just fine. He's not the problem with this movie.
No.
In fact, I would say he's probably one of the better parts of it. If you just want to look at it from he's big, he's intimidating, he's playing his part very well.
The evil people are the best parts of this movie.
Yes, yeah, they're the reason to watch it.
But this is where the whole battle of the tough guys.
You keep trying to make it cooler than what it is.
Yeah. I'm gonna get into what happens to Samantha because you could
this poor lady.
The hotel scene between her and Hulk Hogan is just the most dumbest thing in the world, where they have one hotel room.
Yeah.
And they walk around brushing their teeth. Where's Hulk Hogan spitting to? Because he's in the room. Is he spitting in one of the cups?
Probably in the corner like a dog.
But they have to Hulk Hogan separates the room with the world's strongest athletic tape because they pulled up that sheet pretty well. And then they're arguing back and forth, and then all of a sudden, what woman wears that to bed on a nightly basis? Like, you could tell that was another.
Right, first of all, not only that, what woman wears that to bed with a person she doesn't know very well?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, I get why they did it for the movie because again, she's an attractive lady, right? So I understand it, but if you're just looking at this from a logical standpoint, now I guess they would say she was technically hired to seduce him. That was part of her quote unquote thing she was supposed to do, but it was very clear she wasn't comfortable with it. No. Right? Like that's part of her thing. It's just not for. Not something I like doing, especially as she's slowly falling for the guy. Literally a few times, like especially when he breaks the bed.
Oh yeah, because there is a scene where it looks like Hulk Hogan is pleasuring himself on the side of the bed, but really he's just doing incline push-ups with his feet onto the bed.
Yeah.
So if you ever wanted to see Hulk Hogan in a Speedo, oiled up and tan,
this is the movie for you.
This is definitely the movie for you. But then Hulk Hogan breaks the bed and she rolls over.
How old is Hulk Hogan in this movie? Like, how old is he actually when he films this?
I don't even know.
Because I feel like he looks closer to NW, like just in the face, closer to NWO Hulk.
This came out in 89 and he was born in 53.
I can't do that math.
Yeah, I can't do that either. Give me a second.
I'm asking the hard-hitting questions here.
Yeah. My brain's not working right now.
I'm going to go
give me a
40.
guess.
41.
He's around 36 years old. 36, probably 37, 30. Well, 35 to 37, I would say.
It looks like he's in his late 40s to me. But anyway, and she looks like she's in there like mid to late 20s, if I just had to guess. Right. But it's
wow. She was actually only 5 years younger than Hulk Hogan at this point.
Well, she looked way better than he did.
And shout out to her. She was born on my birthday.
Oh, well, there we go. It's a great day.
Yeah.
But so when he finally gets done working out, which apparently takes him forever because she had been asleep for a while, he jumps on the bed to go to sleep and breaks the bed.
Oh.
And she gets mad, understandably, by the way. She had every right to be upset. And he goes, "You just don't have a good sense of humor. I'm going to go sleep."
I feel like that this was, looking back on it and talking to you about it, is like, I think they were trying to go for like a trains, planes, and automobiles.
Yes.
Or
but like a romantic version of that.
Yeah, and it just didn't work out. But then they fall in love.
Because of course they do.
So if you're an evil man and your corporate spy that was supposed to seduce somebody falls in love with their target, you smack them.
You smack the shit out of them is what you do.
And then you know what else you do, Johnny?
You send somebody to beat her up again.
Yes, and do the word that rhymes with grape.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really, now that I'm watching this movie and what's going on with Vince McMahon, it all makes more and more sense to me.
And then she technically gets kidnapped.
Yes, because finally there's a point where this is the dumbest thing in the world. Rip's brother, who he's so close to, but they only mention once why he's close.
You see him every once in a while, like he's kind of a background character, but they don't really establish their like really close brother. Like they hug like once, and I guess I'm supposed to tell you everything you need to know about how close they are.
What do you see him like 3 times? Like once in the beginning, once when they're watching the Battle of the Tough Guys, which hurts me to say because it makes it sound like I just made it up in preschool.
Then he gets beat up. Zeus beats him up.
Oh no, the limo though. I'm talking about actually.
Oh, before
together. I think there's 3 times.
You think he's just kind of part of the entourage, right? Like, it doesn't.
And its friend should have got beaten because they're at a Zeus fight and it breaks. Like everybody starts running away, and he runs. Just so happens runs into Burrell, and his friend's with him, and he's like, "Oh look, we got a bunch of Rip fans because if your brother is Hulk Hogan, you should wear a T-shirt everywhere of him, or Rip." And they're like, "No, man, that's Rip's brother."
Yeah, that friend is he's wanting to be smacked,
and he only got hit once. And the brother didn't even seem like he got beat that bad, but yet he's like completely paralyzed from the neck down.
He's basically put in a coma. It seems like, because they're at his bedside in the hospital. And when he wakes up, they're all like, oh God, he just woke up from his coma type of situation.
You had a little Arnold in there.
Coma. Is it a coma?
But after this, Rip does vow. And then that was that whole stupid thing where he went into Zeus's training thing and there was the slide projector on the mirror and he breaks the mirror and they're all laughing at him. But then he decides to finally wrestle him, and he wrestled him in his belt, like wearing the championship belt there for a while. Did you notice that?
Yeah, because he loses it, right? I think he loses a belt because I remember that guy saying hit him with it. But there's a lot that happens in this final fight.
Yeah, I don't even.
We forgot to mention that Zeus, and you only know this because of like one quick sentence.
Oh,
Zeus had killed a man, and his trainer, who happened also is also the trainer for Rip, of course.
Yeah. Oh, because the trainer couldn't control Zeus.
Yeah.
But then also the newspaper report, thriller killer, after we've already established he killed a kid.
Yeah, there's no ifs. Like he literally killed somebody.
Like you can't go back and be like, well, he's a pretty nice guy. I guess he's getting ratings.
Yeah. Now I'm also going to say this I'm very upfront about myself. And as a man who has an eye that's getting lazier and lazier as I get older, I sort of like feel for Zeus, right? Like he's also got a very strong lazy eye, and that sort of through no fault of his own is the only thing that takes away from how tough and big and mean he looks. But when he's looking mean, he's just got that one eye. It's a little late, and I knew again. This is coming from experience. So I can say this stuff that it kind of takes away from it a little bit. I'm just saying, as a guy with a lazy eye, I'm looking at you, sort of. I'm sort of looking at you, heartbreak kid. It's just it's hard to look tough.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it was that bad.
Maybe I'm more sensitive to it. Maybe I guess, but
because he's still big and imposing. I think.
Oh yeah, I would never say it to his face.
Maybe that's his rage.
Oh man, I bet you're right. Yeah,
maybe he was.
But you know how mad I am. I'm mad all the time.
Maybe he was picked on as a kid for it, and that's what started working out, and he just couldn't be controlled.
I just look to Shawn Michaels for my inspiration.
Yeah,
because he's a sexy boy, and so I can be too.
He's not your boy toy, Johnny.
That's right.
But
What did you think of this fight? This fight slash wrestling match, whatever you want to call it.
it was a fight.
Yeah.
It wasn't like this was supposed to be a wrestling movie and barely any moves where it was like watching a Hulk Hogan match. There was a lot of punching, little moves here and there.
You know that running double axe handle thing he did?
Yeah, that was.
That's technically his finisher when he was in Japan. Was that?
Oh,
Just for the
really?
record.
Because
Yeah.
that's horrible. Don't it? There. Let's see. It pretty much was that. So pretty much that's it. He sees his brother outside of the ring, moving his finger, go, get up, rep. Get up, rep. Get
Yes.
up, rep.
There's a lot of very much sports movie
I have a theory.
things you see all the time. Yeah.
So I have a theory for this movie.
Okay.
Uh so he's yelling. He finally gets up. And what does Rip do? Because once again, as you so pointed out, it's Hulk Hogan playing Hulk Hogan. Oh, he hulks.
He rips up.
Oh yeah, he rips up. That was the best in the beginning too. And he's like he's doing his patented rip, and he's doing the shirt thing. Oh my goodness! But he hulks up. He ultimately defeats Zeus because Zeus will not turn around for half of the time.
And he defeats Zeus because they somehow ended up on top of they go up into the crowd, and they're like up above the ring, and he knocks him down, and he falls down through the ring.
Yeah,
which is it really reminded me of sort of like, think of when like Lesnar and Big Show did that thing where there's a lot of wrestling talk today on here, where they bumped into the ring and the whole ring kind of collapsed. It's sort of like that a little bit, but like he literally creates a crater where he lands.
wow, I was going really old school. I thought you were gonna say Taz and Bigelow.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, yeah. Actually, that's even more close because they kind of go through the ring, don't they?
Yeah,
yeah. So yeah,
but it doesn't even look natural. Well,
no.
Here we are talking about wrestling in a movie, but so that okay, my argument's invalid.
But what's even more wild is after that, Rip turns around and he sees that executive guy, the Big Evil's executive guy, and he throws a chair through the window to get to him, and the guy backs up and gets electrocuted to death. He dies. And while obviously we're not mad that he died because he's been awful in this movie, but the crowd who know nothing about any of this, don't know anything about this man, cheer.
It's somehow his brother is just standing up with the help of people. Like nobody wants to put him back in his chair because there was the point where his brother gets knocked out of the chair.
Yeah.
And you couldn't even get him a motorized wheelchair. Like you're supposedly have all this money.
Yeah, for real. By the way, the movie just ends there. Like he just kind of like, hey, he beats everybody. Oh, movie's over.
So, thank God we got through this. Don't ever. But there are parts where we mentioned the brother. They don't give us any backstory. The only thing is Mean Gene and Jesse Ventura.
That was my favorite part.
Yeah, Jesse Ventura is a hell of an actor.
And Mean Gene, and I just love Mean Gene. So I did pop for that. I'm not going to lie.
Where they mentioned that they've never been closer since their parents have died, but yet they're always apart in this movie.
Yeah.
I gotta say sorry to Bill Eadie because I definitely got to bring this out. When I was watching this, he, Rip, Hulk Hogan was wrestling a man called Jake Bullet, played by Bill Eadie, and for a minute there, I thought it was Iron Mike Sharp. So I'm sorry, Bill Eadie, that I got you mixed up with Iron Mike Sharp.
Also, apparently, and I could not find him, but a young Buff Bagwell is somewhere in this movie.
I couldn't find him either.
But that's part of the lore. Apparently he's in this somewhere. I couldn't tell you where.
Like you can spot John Cena in Ready to Rumble.
Yes, yeah, pretty easily.
What else was my little peeves? Was the beginning when you first see Rip come out and he's like snarling. Like you're supposed to be like this big baby face good guy, and you're coming out like this monstrous heel.
Well, Hulk Hogan always kind of confused me because even when he's this big time good guy, even in his wrestling, some of his moves he would do were heel stuff, like raking the back was definitely a heel move, and he did that all the time. But I think it's because before he became his big time babyface, he was playing heel. I think, like in his early wrestling days. But yeah, it's just so. This is a very nerdy wrestling podcast.
And I'm going to bring you this topic here too. Where are the cops?
Well, they had security.
We've seen multiple kidnappings.
The cops were helping with the kidnapping. That's where they were.
Multiple kidnappings. A woman assaulted, and nothing is like ever. I don't know, but that I can say Ready to Rumble is a better wrestling movie. And that's saying a lot about this.
I honestly had way more fun watching Ready to Rumble than this.
I did too. I felt you could if you understand the wrestling term, mark out more over Ready to Rumble.
Yeah.
Than you could watching this.
Now, don't get us wrong. Neither are good movies. They're not good.
No.
But Ready to Rumble is at least one of those, for me, a fun bad movie.
Yes. Like something that I would put on if when I'm doing editing or making graphics or something like that.
Yeah.
Like it's good background noise, where this I would be like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
So my thing behind this is he did Rocky 3.
Yeah.
Mr. Terry Bollea. And every feel of this had some sort of kind of Rocky thing, like a Rocky. I don't even know if Rocky 4 was out at this time, but just a very Rocky feel to it. Like he's this big guy, or like
well, it was a big deal.
3,
it was a big deal. He was in Rocky. Like it was a huge deal.
Like Rocky 3. Okay, there you got your trainer, and then all of a sudden there's this upstart guy from nowhere, and Clubber Lang coming. And what is Zeus? He's a guy from jail.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it.
Oh, yeah. Rocky 4 came out in 85. I thought it came out later.
Oh, so if you think about it too, like if you're a big fan of this stuff, if you see Hulk Hogan just show up in Rocky, that's actually pretty cool, right? That's actually a pretty cool moment. Like I'd put it on par with, I love the Bruce Lee movies, and there's that one movie where Chuck Norris shows up, right? Like that's just cool because you get to see those two fight. Like that's sort of like a fantasy booking, if you want to call it that. So saying Rocky taking on Hulk Hogan, that's fantasy booking. And it's a lot of fun you can have. But the problem with this movie to me is, and I don't understand it, is besides Hulk,
nobody does.
Besides Hulk and besides Jesse and Mean Gene at the beginning, where are all the little cameos? You could have had so many wrestling cameos here. There's a few, but like you could have just put you could have had so many people in this, and at least made it fun from that aspect.
Yeah, there's a lot of miscues on this. Like you got Bill Eadie, and it's cool because you won't recognize him because he doesn't have the face paint. This is the height of demolition. Oh man, Howard Finkel, Joey Morella, the referee, son of Gorilla Monsoon. But other than that, they just miss out on everything. Like you said, it became a UFC fighter versus a wrestler.
Yeah.
I feel it was Ali versus Inoki. In that, I know Ali's not a UFC fighter, but that's what it.
Yeah, two different fighting styles. Yeah.
Two different fighting styles. It doesn't. Nothing.
This would work way more in like a Street Fighter movie than in what it was trying to be.
It reminds me of, like I said, it reminds me of like trying to be a knockoff Rocky movie, and you like looking through once again Tubi, or you're at like a Dollar Tree, and it's like sake or something.
Yeah, I just think you're being a jackass, though. Stop being a jackass and let's talk about who you'd want to be if you were in this movie.
Oh, I got another question after.
Oh, okay. Hit me with it,
So,
jackass.
but first though, this got 10% on Rotten Tomatoes and the audience score is 34%.
Oh, man.
So my question to you is, we're wrestling fans.
Yeah.
We enjoy wrestling. Which wrestler would you like to see remake this movie? This is the first thing that popped through my head, and I was like, I must ask Johnny this question.
Oh, man. Well, it has to be one of the big stars, right? But they would need. Am I trying to make it better or just keep it what it is?
Can we try and make it better?
Okay.
Do you think we could make this better? Like I've thought of maybe a couple. Like
Cody Rhodes is actually a pretty decent actor.
Right there. Right.
Yeah. I think he's a good actor, so I'd be all for that. I would take Cody. I think CM Punk could probably do it.
Yeah. I would like to see like CM Punk play like the Zeus role.
I really think John Cena could do it.
I would think it would be a better movie because I praise John Cena for his acting, even though a lot of people hate me for that.
Why? He's not that bad.
He's better.
He's awesome in Peacemaker.
Better than The Rock.
Yes.
Way better than The Rock.
Because at least he has a sense of humor about himself.
It's got it. Yeah, I was thinking Cena. I was thinking Cody.
But I would just like filter this thing with all kinds of like I would have like Kevin Owens would be one of the guys, one of the tough guys.
Yeah,
like the main tough guy who spits and stuff. Like I'd probably make it KO.
I throw like Sheamus in there.
Oh yeah, you gotta have Sheamus. Gunther be in there for something. Oh, Gunther be my main bad guy probably.
Jeez, Johnny, you could tell what area you grew up in. The evil European bad guy.
I just like Gunther. I just like the dude. I think he's awesome.
I know. It's just funny that you are like Gunther's Austrian. Let's just go with this route. Yeah, but I feel Cody or Cena would be the two best.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Please remake this.
But make it good.
Yeah. We can't let Vince do anything now because he's got to go.
Oh, he won't be anywhere near it. He's not going to allow to do anything. So that's fine.
I like it also how on Tubi they changed it to the WWE Studios.
Oh, did they? I didn't even notice that. Yeah.
But who would I be?
Yeah, who would you be in this?
The guy running away from the studio. Best character with the most development.
That's it. They all have the same development.
Like I would say Stan Hansen's character, he's just named Neanderthal. That's freaking great, Vince. He's gonna be a Neanderthal. Ha ha ha! You did it because he's stupid and in a bar.
Yeah.
I'm going with Tom Burrell, even though he's just way too over the top.
Yeah, but I think he kind of knew what he was in.
I think he's the only one that knew what he was in.
Yeah, I agree. I think I would be.
Can I be Jesse Ventura, even though he plays himself?
Yeah. And I'll be Mean Gene. There we go. We'll have to do one scene and we're done.
That's what pisses me off is they even say in there, like in the beginning there, and I couldn't remember. I'm like, wow, Jesse Ventura was in this. And they even say in the beginning, like featuring or also starring Jesse Ventura. And he's that one scene and done.
Yeah, that's it.
Like, why couldn't he be the guy that turned on?
And they probably just filmed that during like one of their shows anyway.
That would have just been foreshadowing the future when I said, why couldn't Jesse Ventura turn on Hulk Hogan? All right, let's rate this.
You know what we're rating this out of. Yeah. Dookies. We gotta rate this out of Dookies. Out of 5, how many Dookies do you give this incredible piece of cinema?
I meant to go back to listen to Mac and Me
Don't you dare compare
because
these
this
two.
is in the same boat in my mind as Mac and Me.
Yeah, you're destroying me. This
This
is
is
no. This is you put some respect on Mac and Me's name. This is nowhere near as what's the word I'm looking for? Um, fun as Mac and Me. Did a single Coca-Cola save anybody's life in this?
I would have gone for that. I would have needed advertising
I
other
know.
than Hulk Hogan in spandex every
They
fucking
didn't at all. If they at least would have thrown in one scene of Hulk Hogan rips showing up at a McDonald's and just have like a dancing football team surround him, then this would have been a much better movie.
oh. This is in Mac and Me territory.
No, this is way, way worse. I love Mac and Me. I
No,
do not like this.
no, if I go back to the way that like uh AVGN has like the bad gameometer,
Yeah.
this is at the end of my bad movie. Like
Is this the worst movie we've seen for this show?
I gotta put it in the same boat as Mac and Me.
I can't do that. And it's
I-
hurt my soul that you're saying that. That you're even comparing that you're even saying a sentence with those two movies together
It's
is an insult to me as a human being.
it's bad acting, poor story development. It's like the supporting characters are good, or only one of them are good, but it's I feel like when you got a movie where there's too much star in a way, it gets a little annoying. Like I feel like sometimes you need that side character that you just like the movie Trainwreck with Amy Schumer. If you did not have John Cena and LeBron James and Colin Quinn in that movie, that would probably be one of the worst movies I've ever seen. But because of those supporting characters and what they lend to scenes and everything else and the way that they deliver things, it makes it better. And I feel like there's only one guy in this whole entire movie that.
What this movie really needed was for you to care about the brother.
And why did they name the little brother Randy? Was that a dig?
Oh, oh,
Thinking that was that a dig at the Macho Man?
oh. But you know what I'm saying? Like, if you actually cared about Randy, then
Yeah.
all these stakes would mean so much more. But they don't, and it's not the actor's fault again. It's not that guy's fault. He's just written very poorly and he's just one dimensional, which is literally how I can describe like 99% of these characters in this film. What are you giving this? How many dookies?
Oh my goodness. A half a dookie.
I am going to be completely agree. This is a half a dookie movie. It's full of nothing but jockasses. And look, this is coming from me, like one of the best and most well-known critics of our era. This movie is truly awful, and Mac and Me is so much better than this movie.
I would put it in the same boat.
It's not in the same boat.
If
They're
we
much
were
different
tearing-
boats.
If we were tearing movies and this came up,
You're making me tear just saying this.
it would be that. Oh, and this poor guy that played Lug Wrench Perkins. That's such a horrible name.
That can't be the name.
That's the name of the character in the movie. Lug Wrench Perkins. He
Right.
also played Bane in Batman and Robin. Good for you for being in two crappy movies.
Batman and Robin, well, I can't say that I haven't watched it in a long time. I don't know. I was about to say maybe it's at least kind of fun, but it's been forever since I've seen it.
He has a credit card. That's a bad
Yeah.
card. Like
And nipples. He's got bat nipples, Greg.
we need to go. So if you enjoy what we do here, go support us on Patreon. Go check out our YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, other social medias. We're on the BICBP radio network. My head is hurting so bad from this movie and having to talk about it.
Yeah.
Um,
This was tough. We did this for you. This is a public service we just did. We provided for the
I
public.
apologize to Johnny. I'm
He
going to give a
literally
little
did.
backstory now for this.
He did apologize to me. That's so true.
We were going to do we schedule things out. We schedule
Yes.
things out way
Like a month ahead,
Yeah.
which is pretty remarkable if you know me as a person.
Yeah, I have
It's all Andrew, just to be fair.
But to be fair, I also have a planner and I write it down as we're talking.
Yes, it helps. Yeah.
So we were supposed to do Mortal Kombat, and it started coming up to time to record. So I was like, "Oh crap, I got to watch Mortal Kombat."
Now when I suggested Mortal, because it was my suggestion, was because I don't remember which streaming service it was on, but it's on one of the ones that we had access to. I saw it there, and so I suggested it. I was like, oh, because I have really fond memories of that original Mortal Kombat movie. I'm not saying it's a good movie, but it's a fun movie for me, right? So I was looking forward to it. And then you're like, oh, we're going to do Mortal Kombat this week. I was like, all right. And then all of a sudden you send me this text. Johnny, it's not streaming anywhere.
It's not. It's the so the 2001 is streaming on, what is that called? Max. But we wanted to do the original.
Yeah, the 90s one from the 90s.
With the great stunt or fight choreographer Pat Johnson in it.
Yes.
Yeah. But we didn't. So I'm looking up, and I know Johnny loves Mr. Nanny.
I do.
Johnny has mentioned Mr. Nanny many times. I don't know
Yes.
if he's done it on the show, but to me, he has mentioned Mr. Nanny plenty of times. So I was like, let's look up Mr. Nanny. I looked up Mr. Nanny, not streaming anywhere. I'm like, what about No Holds Barred? I haven't seen that since I was a kid. And I was like, oh, it's on Tubi. Let's watch this. So I'm like sitting in there getting ready, and I watched it, and I regretted every minute. I apologized to Johnny the minute he was like, I have now seen No Holds Barred. I pretty much told him I wouldn't brag about it. And
oh man, I've never had it. I promise you, Andrew, if we weren't doing this for a recording, I would not have made it past 10 minutes.
Oh my god, so bad.
Very tough watch.
I wish I could find the Dolph Lundgren Punisher movie.
Yes.
But we have I think we're doing Rookie of the Year next. So hopefully,
yeah, unless it gets moved somewhere else and we can't watch it.
Oh geez. In that case, we're gonna watch Suburban Commando. No. We're gonna try and rewatch Mac and Me. No, we're not doing that either ever again. But yeah, I'm not gonna do my normal sign off. I'm just gonna say this Hulk Hogan, you gave me many childhood memories, and this is one I regret going back to look back on.
Yeah, this is one of those instances where something should have stayed in the past.
Yeah.
It's painful to see this. And I just want to say, for Andrew, I'm Johnny, and to all of our jockasses out there, we love you and keep up the good fight.